I don't want you to make these mistakes. So these are 5 definite big mistakes. Hi guys, thank you for joining me again. My name is Hajat Chana, and today I'm going to go over 5 things I wish I knew before I started training. I don't want you to make these mistakes. So these are 5 definite big mistakes when you are trying to build muscle, whether you're trying to lose weight and get that muscle mass. Definitely take these points into consideration, because otherwise you will suffer like I did for 5 years when I used to go out a little bit more inconsistent with my regime. Even though I still tried to maintain at least a 4 to 5 days of training regime, it was never consistent. But still, the fact that after 5 years of doing so, I still never gained any muscle whatsoever. And that can really affect your motivation to stick with training and really get where you want with your physique. So for this reason, I don't want you to make these mistakes. So I'm going to go over 5 things that I find that very big and that changed everything for me, and I was able to go in the path I wanted to. So let's dive in, guys. Number 1 was training too long. I used to spend too much time in the gym. Whether you're with a training partner, whether you're going with your friends, whether you're going on your own, do not train more than 2 hours. And that's still too much. So you need to bring that down. So when you're going into these long hours, I think the maximum amount you should be training is around 45 minutes to possibly an hour and a half. Sometimes even an hour and a half can be a little bit too much depending on how your workout regime is actually set out. But in working long hours, all I found is that I'm breaking into muscle tissue too much, to the point that you're also breaking into the muscle that you're actually growing, because your body cannot physically work that much. It only takes about an hour before your glycogen stores and your carbohydrate stores are completely depleted. From that point on, you can either go into a fat burning process, but if you want to build muscle, you're going to find it very difficult and most likely breaking into your muscle that you've achieved. The other problem was of training too long, you'll find that you're burning way too much calories, especially if you're trying to put on muscle mass and grow that muscle. So you're going to have to really overfeed yourself, which gets really difficult in the day if you're spending way too much in the gym, because you should be really focused on actually feeding your body. And mistake number 2 was training more daily and having no meal plan. So sometimes going in, we think that we just need to work out more. So you add more days of working out. So you might go in from a 2 or 3 day week, suddenly think, okay, I'm going to work 4 to 5 days a week, because that's going to help you build better and bigger results. And that is not the case again. If you're trying to build that mass, you're trying to build muscle, even if you're trying to lose weight, it makes no difference of how many workouts that you include and how long they are. It's not going to make much of a difference if you have no meal plan. So that was one of the biggest mistakes I was making, thinking training more, pushing weights is what makes big muscle. And that is not the reality. It's actually what we feed our body with, and having the right adequate meal plan, making sure you've got the macros that your body needs, the calories that your body needs on a daily basis to make sure you achieve your goals. So it's not necessarily how many workouts that have to keep adding into your daily routine. It's actually going to be the amount of quantity and having the meal plan correct for actually what your body goal is. Let's move into number 3. I've been a massive victim of this. It is a complete myth. Lifting heavy builds bigger muscle mass. And that is so not true, guys. So you don't want to be doing this. That's a big mistake I made. Going out there, whether you have a spotter or you're working with a partner, you're always helping each other, trying to lift that more weight load. And you don't necessarily have to lift to the point where your joints are under such stress. You think that lifting more stressfully and the more pressure and the more energy that you put into lifting heavy is going to build you more muscle mass. So I don't want you to go down that route, because that is nothing but going to cause you injuries. You're going to find a lot of pain in your body, and it's going to stress out your joints. So you don't want to be doing that and thinking that that's the only way to build muscle, because the real way to build muscle is the fact that you just need to break down muscle tissue to the point that you're hitting muscle failure. So you don't have to particularly lift heavy. As long as you can lift a certain weight to your desired repetitions and you're failing at that point, that is enough to build the most muscle you can possibly build. And the only way that you're going to see muscle mass and the repairing of muscle happen is actually through your meal plan. So that's the way you build muscle, is making sure that you put your energy into the meal plan and not that extra forceful energy trying to lift extremely heavy. So put this in a very simple form, guys. You want to build muscle mass, you need to add a lot more carbohydrates to your diet. And if you don't want to build so much muscle mass but get leaner, then you go slightly lower on your carbohydrates and increase possibly your fats and proteins. So let's move into number 4. So this one is all about don't skipping stretching. So you don't want to be skipping stretching, because I used to do it all the time, and all you'll find is that you will lose flexibility, you lose your mobility, you'll start to suffer some injuries, your muscles start to fatigue quicker, and you'll notice your strength levels also decline because your muscles start to fatigue quicker during muscular exercises, and you'll feel the burn much quicker because your muscles are very tight, they may have possible knots, and this is something that you don't want because you will come out over time if you skip stretching, and you'll want to always push your muscles further in the gym, lifting weights all the time, and you will suffer this eventually down the line. And it does, and it plays a massive impact of where your body's going to end up. So make sure that you're adding stretching, as I always do now. Make sure that at least 20 minutes of stretching after workout, and even on certain rest days, if I'm possible, to just do stretching alone for about 30 minutes. It makes a massive difference. Not only will you find that your mobility and your flexibility is better, you'll also know your muscle growth is better because you're actually lengthening and stretching out those muscles at the end of sessions. It actually helps your muscles grow better, helps them relax quicker, and also grows to the fullest length of your muscles, so you don't end up with shorter muscle growth. And the fifth mistake, guys, that I've made was supplements. This is a very costly one. So if you've been a victim of this, but if you haven't, I don't want you to be. So make sure you're not going out there and buying all the supplements that you think that you need to build muscle and build that mass. I have been out there previously when I have bought mass gainers, bought testosterone boosters, fat burners, bought creatine supplements, whey protein supplements. The amount of money that you will spend on these because you think the way they are marketed that they are needed to build that lean and that muscle mass is not true. These are just myths. You don't need those. You can get everything you need from a normal natural diet. You just need to make sure that you have a great meal plan, eat normal foods, eat general carbohydrates, get your proteins from foods as well as good quality fats, and you should not need supplements to build that muscle and get that body that you want. Supplements are not bad, but they have their place. But what happens is that we tend to emphasize that the supplement is actually going to be doing all the work to help us get us there while you're actually training. But that is not the case. It all comes down to your macros, your calories, the right type of meal plan that you need to build the body that you're trying to reach. So that brings us to the end of this video. Guys, if you like this video, and please give me a like and also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see more videos like this every single week. But for now, guys, make sure you don't make the same 5 mistakes that I did.